In the early 1980s, we produced a series called The Best Ever. The goal was to stir debate in the living rooms and bar rooms of America. The pilot, called Legends of the Fall, showcases some of the game's greatest players: Jim Brown, Roger Staubach, Johnny Unitas. Now, you might notice that some of the records we used to support our claims are no longer valid. Brown no longer owns the NFL rushing record, and Fran Tarkenton's mark for touchdown passes now belongs to Dan Marino. But their achievements and impact on the game still stand.
There is magic in the game of football. 22 men meet on a green field 100 yards long, and at times, history is made.
Tom Dempsey will try to kick the longest field goal in National League history. Scarpetti will hold. 2 seconds left. Here's a snap. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on the way. It is good. It's good. It's good. It's good. The Saints have won. The Saints have won. The stadium is wild. The Saints have won 19-17. Dempsey with a 63-yard field goal.
Magic. Some have possessed it for a moment, others for a lifetime. Like the wind, it comes and goes, but the memories remain. Memories of miracle men whose magic has earned them a special place in pro football history. The history of professional football is filled with great players, but only a select few can truly be called the best ever. Each position on a football team requires special skills, but no position requires as many different skills as quarterback. It has been said that the true measure of a quarterback is how many times he leads his teammates to the championship. If that be the guideline, then Otto Graham is the best ever. Graham quarterbacked the Cleveland Browns from 1946 to 1955, and he led them to a league or conference championship every season he played. But since his coach, Paul Brown, called all the plays, Graham's ability as a field general cannot be evaluated. Certainly the most versatile quarterback ever was Fran Tarkenton of the Minnesota Vikings. Tarkenton won a few games by carrying the ball, but he won immortality by throwing it. Although he never played on a truly great team, he completed more passes for more yards and more touchdowns than any quarterback in pro football history. He accomplished everything a quarterback could do except win a Super Bowl. Although he never wore pro football's championship crown, his 18-year career was a remarkable jewel in the game's history. Like Fran Tarkenton, Roger Staubach, number 12, was an excellent scrambler, and he too left behind some impressive records. He is the NFL's all-time passing leader, and twice he directed the Dallas Cowboys to the World Championship. He was an elusive runner and a talented passer, but his spirit, courage, and ability to absorb punishment carried him far beyond the boundaries of talent. Starbuck almost always seemed in desperate trouble. It was the Alamo every Sunday, with Davy Crockett sighting down his long rifle with the powder running out. It was the Alamo every Sunday, with the Texans reversing history and the United States cavalry coming in on a long high pass.
Seconds left in the game. Redskins lead by 6. Second down and 8. From the 8-yard line. No shotgun this time. Staubach throwing in the end zone. Tony Hill! Touchdown! Tony Hill! Oh, the stadium goes wild! The Cowboys have won the East! The Cowboys have come from behind twice! Unbelievably! I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Starbuck could rightfully be called the best ever, were it not for a humble-looking hero in high-top shoes whose journey to greatness began on a misty December afternoon in 1958. In the first sudden death overtime in NFL history, a 25-year-old quarterback named John Unitas directed the Baltimore Colts to the winning touchdown in the championship game against the New York Giants.
Unitas calling out the signals. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores! The most dramatic finish in professional football.
John Unitas played quarterback for 18 years. 3 times he led the Colts to the NFL championship, and 3 times he was named the league's most valuable player. Unitas threw touchdown passes in 47 consecutive games, pro football's equivalent of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. His passing and play calling were properly applauded. But it was his cool confidence that enchanted the public. His records and achievements are many, but they give no indication of the countless games he won by the sheer force of his personality. He demanded and got the very best his teammates had to offer. Few quarterbacks valued the pass as Unitas did, and few have used it with such versatility or with such success. When John Unitas walked off the field for the last time, the Baltimore Colts lost the player who had made them champions, and pro football lost a quarterback who could truly be called the best ever. On the cold, wet afternoon of December 12, 1965, 40,000 spectators came out to Chicago's Wrigley Field to see what promised to be no more than a routine season-ending game between the Bears and the 49ers. What they got was a slice of history. rookie running back named Gale Sayers, number 40, scored 6 touchdowns in the most memorable one-man offensive spectacle in modern pro history. There have been many great runners in pro football, but no one ever scored more touchdowns in more different ways in one game than Gale Sayers. While Sayers' performance was the best ever for a single game, O.J. Simpson, number 32, was the best ever for a single season. In 1973, Simpson became the first runner in football history to rush for more than 2,000 yards in a single season. He was not a beautiful runner, but a power runner. Yet, in the end, his power was beautiful to watch. Never has one player given so much, so often to so many. In 1973, the Juice carried the ball 332 times, averaging 24 tries a game and averaged 6 yards per try. O.J. Simpson's 2003-yard season was the best ever, but this historic achievement does not put him at the top of the runner's pyramid. Only one man occupies that place: Jim Brown. No man ever ran with a football for as much yardage, and no man ever scored as many touchdowns. Jim Brown's career total of 12,312 yards gained rushing is the unscaled Everest of all records. Simpson's record is a mere way station on the treacherous climb toward this highest peak. I always thought Superman was white and wore an S, said one opposing coach. But now I know he's black and wears number 32. Jim Brown was the locomotive and the speeding bullet, and all others were just tall buildings to be leaped at a single bound. Brown led the NFL in rushing for 8 of his 9 years. He journeyed through defenses designed specifically to stop him. He was a marked man every Sunday, but he never missed a game. In 1965, Jim Brown had the discipline to retire at the peak of his career, a simple yet infinitely complicated personal act that few celebrated athletes have ever achieved. He retired to make movies in Hollywood, but he left his legend where it belongs, on the football field as the best ever. Although many players have gained fame and fortune, pro football is a team game, and the greatest glory belongs to the greatest teams.
hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody tackling. Just grabbing, everybody. Grab, grab, grab. Nobody tackling. Put your shoulders in there out there.
Vince Lombardi's passion for perfection made a small community in the Midwest a synonym for team excellence. In Green Bay, Wisconsin, on December 31st, 1967, the temperature was 15 degrees below zero. Lombardi's Packers and the Dallas Cowboys battled each other and the elements in a cruel rite of manhood that would decide the championship of the National Football League. Had the Packers won this game easily, as it first appeared they would have been remembered as the team of the 60s. But by winning the game as they eventually did, they became a team for the ages because the character of their performance surpassed the achievement itself.
Starr takes the ball, backpedals, looks downfield, flips a short pass, complete to Anderson. He's at the 35. He moves to the 30-yard line, and it will be very close.
Trailing by 3 points with time running out, the Packers drove 68 yards across the frozen field and into legend.
He flips the pass. It's complete to Chuck Mercine. He's at the 25, the 20, down to the 15, and out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Starr takes the snap. It's to Mercine. Pops up the middle, the 5. He's inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. Bart Starr coming over to check with Coach Vince Lombardi. 20 seconds remaining in this football game. The Packers inches away from something that has never before happened in pro football history. A third straight NFL championship. The Packers come out of the huddle. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He's got the quarterback taken. He's into the touchdown, and the Packers are out in front. And the Green Bay Packers are going to be world champions, NFL champions for the third straight year.
In the 1960s, Vince Lombardi's Packers came close to perfection.
History has been made.
In the 1970s, Don Shula's Miami Dolphins achieved it. In 1972, the Miami Dolphins became the first and only team in NFL history to go through an entire season unbeaten and untied. The Dolphins were a team whose strength was in its balance rather than brilliance. Fullback Larry Zonka, number 39, was the power gear in Miami's grinding, steady, mistake-proof offense. They conquered the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl and ended the year with 17 wins and no defeats. For one season, no team was ever better than Don Shula's 1972 Miami Dolphins. For 40 years, no team was ever as bad as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense was so pitiful and their misfortune so perverse that not once in 4 decades could they win even a division championship. Each game was a comedy of errors, with Pittsburgh's opponents stealing the last laugh. But this sad story became ancient history when Chuck Noll became head coach of the Steelers. In 4 years, he rebuilt the team, and in 1972, the Steelers made the playoffs for the first time. For connoisseurs of destiny, it was a day to remember.
And Bradshaw back and looking again. Bradshaw running out of the pocket, looking for somebody to throw to, fires it downfield. And there's a collision. That's caught out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Franco Harris. Harris is going
The immaculate reception of Franco Harris marked the beginning of Pittsburgh's rise to power. In the following years, they would win more games and win more Super Bowls in more different ways than anyone ever thought possible. Like snowflakes, no two Steelers seasons were ever alike. In the mid-70s, they stopped their opponents with pure physical strength and ran over them with an offense rooted to the brute power of Franco Harris, number 32. In the late 70s, the Steelers elevated football to a higher level, with Terry Bradshaw throwing to John Stallworth and Lynn Swann, number 88. Pittsburgh passed over teams they used to run through. The Pittsburgh Steelers made up for 40 years of defeat with a decade of victory. A decade unequaled for sustained excellence. 8 straight playoff appearances, 4 Super Bowl championships. The Pittsburgh Steelers of the 1970s, the best team ever.
This NFL Films production has been brought to you by NFL Network. Watch the National Football League 24 hours a day on NFL Network.